Hello, American patriots. Are you a supporter of the Second Amendment? Are you a responsible gun owner? If so, then you know the day will come that you're going to need a trusted and qualified gunsmith. When that day arrives, I want you to contact the man that I trust with my weapons, Mr. Delaney Jackson, owner of Jumpin, a gunsmith and appraisal. Besides being a professional gunsmith, Delaney is a true American patriot. And, a little trivia for you, he's also the manager and guitar player for country music legend Mr. Mark Chestnut. So when the time arrives, take your weapons to the man who treats my weapons like they're his own, my trusted friend, Mr. Delaney Jackson at Jumpin' Jack's Gunsmith and Appraisal. Contact information and website information is in the description of this video below. Thank you and God bless.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, American patriots, and welcome to the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places you could be tonight, but you chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. It is a pleasure to be back. As many of you know, this past few days have been lots of bad weather, not only for us here in Louisiana, but across the country for that matter. Lots of tornadoes, and with bad weather in places like where I'm at in Lake Charles, Louisiana, when we have bad weather, well, there goes our internet. We never have been able to rebuild properly the infrastructure of electrical, power for your homes, phone lines, help, AT&T cell service or any cell service around here, Wi-Fi, internet. It's hooked up, the basics, until money comes in to be able to fix it the way it was before the two hurricanes and the flood. So without bad weather, I've already had many issues with the internet cutting in and out. So, we have to cancel every now and then. But with bad weather, it's not even worth attempting to do a show, which is what happened to us on Tuesday. But we're back now. Very happy for that. Also, if you haven't seen them yet, we were down in Florida and took some great videos of our trip down there at the different museums. We also went up to Barksdale Air Force Base, home of the 8th Air Force and B-52 bombers. And we went through the museum there, and we've got many, many things up and coming in the very near future that I'm sure you guys are going to love that are not directly related to politics. We're going to try and keep the politics to just this show. So that being said, let's get right into this. How many times have you heard someone, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's somebody on Facebook or anywhere on the internet, talk about the New World Order? Yep, you've heard it. I know we all have heard it. And many people, myself included, basically just let that go in one ear and right out the other because it just seems conspiracy-wise, right? There are a lot of things that I don't give that much credit to. And when I hear people talk about the New World Order, I'm going to be honest with you. It's what it is. We'll see. Time will tell. But some of the way it's described I've never once thought would be a possibility. All that being said, I want to share with you what came out of Joe Biden's mouth in the past 24 hours. Biden traveled to Brussels to take part in a special NATO summit in Belgium and visit Poland to discuss international efforts to support Ukraine and punish Russia for its invasion. And he's over there across the pond right now. The trip comes after Biden said, quote, "There will be a new world order that must be led by the United States." Departing the White House on Wednesday, Biden was asked what he will say to his European partners. "I'm going to say it all to their face," Biden told reporters. "I'll be happy to talk to you guys when I get back." Biden was also asked about chemical warfare, to which he replied, "I think it's a real threat." During the summit, Biden discussed the ongoing differences in defense efforts in response to Russia's unprovoked and unjustified attack on Ukraine, as well as to reaffirm our ironclad commitment to our NATO allies. Biden, after the summit, is scheduled to join a European Council summit to discuss shared concerns about Ukraine, including transatlantic efforts to impose economic costs on Russia, provide humanitarian support to those affected by the violence, and to address other challenges reflected and related to the conflict. So, here we have the president, Joe Biden himself, uttering the words New World Order. So, I kind of feel stupid if I want to believe him, because maybe it's true. Maybe there is going to be a New World Order. I don't know. I don't think they're going to order me or many of you around to do a damn thing. So if there is a New World Order, well, I think there's going to be a lot more problems than that we face right here in America. Representative Darrell Issa, Republican California, is demanding that the White House officials and big tech companies preserve any records pertaining to the suppression of Hunter Biden stories so that Republicans can launch an investigation if they win back the majority at midterms. I told you this was coming. We've already talked about this, that if we win back the House and Senate, that is what's going to happen. I have been constantly talking to my friends that are members of the Senate, members of Congress, about just that. It is time that if you guys win back both houses, especially if you win back in 2024, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, that this time you get it right and you stay the course. We already know for a fact that big tech colluded with some of the nation's most powerful media and most influential Democrat partisans in the intelligence community to suppress the truth, censor fact-based journalism, and cover for the Biden family. Now, the full truth to complete accountability must come next. ISIS is sending letters to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, White House Chief of Staff Ronald Klein, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, multiple former U.S. intelligence officials, and others, demanding that they preserve all Hunter Biden-related records. Now, let me go on record and say that that shit's already been destroyed by them. And if it hasn't, now that you've told the game plan, they will destroy it, just like Hillary did with her 30,000 plus emails. A right to request you immediately initiate document preservation for all materials relating to questions, inquiries, conversations, strategies, and response from 2020 to current, to the media reporting of Hunter Biden's laptop and or its content that first appeared in the New York Post on October 14th of 2020. Material preservation is essential for Congress to conduct a comprehensive fact-finding investigation into actions by these different companies, Facebook, Twitter, for instance, media organizations, CNN, MSNBC, political allies to suppress information and prevent public awareness of matters involving the Biden family, which we all know now for a fact took place. Because finally, CNN and MSNBC are admitting that yes, the story was real, and yes, they chose not to report on it. The New York Times last week confirmed the authenticity of Hunter Biden's infamous laptop, which was left in a Delaware repair shop in 2019 by the first son before being turned over to the FBI. Previously, newspapers dismissed the laptop story as Russian disinformation, as did CNN and MSNBC. At the height of the 2020 presidential campaign, and claimed in September 2021 piece that the New York Post reporting on the laptop was unsustainable. Social media companies at the time suspended the Post accounts and blocked users from sharing the story about Hunter Biden's laptop, citing policies that don't allow the distribution of hacked material. And of course, as we all know, that was 100% bullshit. It was true. It did happen. It's on his laptop. The FBI has it. And why the FBI has not done their job, I don't know. But damn it, when we win shit back, we better put somebody in charge over at the FBI that gives a damn about our justice system. Even Trump didn't do that. And that can't ever happen again. The Republicans need to do exactly what the Democrats do every time they take back over. You clean house and you kick all these people out that don't support you. And you sure as hell do not bring people on to your administration, such as, William Barr, who has barbecues and hangs out at the house and their kids' games and shit. A person who is best buddies with the guy going after you for what they claim is illegal activity. I still don't know why he put William Barr in that position. But he was the president, not me. Isa said the censorship amounts to a Watergate-level scandal. This is the most consequential political scandal since Watergate, and it deserves an investigation in Congress no less robust and no less bipartisan than that one, the congressman said. And I agree 100%. Again, it will be up to us, we the people, to hold Republicans accountable. Because what did you hear leading up to Trump's first term in office, when him and Hillary were running? What did you hear at all the rallies? Remember that? Lock her up. Remember? And Trump was 100% saying, you put me in the White House and I will clean out the swamp and I will take care of all these corrupt people. And then he gets in the White House, and what does he do? He gives Hillary a pass. Now, I don't know if maybe she has something on him or vice versa, but not only did Trump not see to it she was pursued, but neither did the Justice Department and neither did the FBI, which, by the way, weren't appointed by him originally. And then when he had his own people in there, nothing was done. Nothing was done. Speaking of Trump and investigations, you guys are going to love this if you support Donald Trump. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg stopped pursuing charges against former President Donald Trump and suspended the investigation indefinitely. It's over with. Now, I know Democrats and liberals are going to cry, boo-hoo-hoo, how can you possibly do this? Well, we did the same thing with Hillary Clinton. That's how we can possibly do it. The same shit with all those that went after Trump for Russia collusion. And then after all the investigations and all the millions of dollars spent, nothing was found. Okay? So I don't want to hear the whining and bitching and complaining about this being thrown out because it was your last effort. You thought that this was going to be it. Oh, here it is. He's going to go to prison now. I'll repeat that. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg stopped pursuing charges against former President Donald Trump and suspended the investigation indefinitely. Now, let's go on and read a little bit further because there's more information here. One of the top prosecutors who resigned from the office said in his resignation letter, but disagreed with the decision. Mark Pomerantz and Kerry Dunn, who had been leading the investigation under former DA Cyrus Vance, submitted their resignation last month after Bragg began raising doubts about pursuing a case against Trump. You have reached a decision not to go forward with the grand jury presentation and not to seek criminal charges at the present time, he wrote in his resignation letter, first reported by the New York Times. The investigation has been suspended indefinitely. Of course, that is your decision to make. Pomerantz wrote to Bragg, I do not question your authority to make, and I accept that you have made it sincerely. It's over with. And let me just remind you one other thing, liberals and Democrats. There is absolutely nothing, zero, in our United States Constitution or in any publication that to become president of the United States, one must release their tax returns. It does not exist. It's not there. That is not a requirement to become president of the United States. Now, you have to put together a financial document showing basic assets, but you do not have to release your tax returns, which the Democrats have spent millions and millions of our money, taxpayer dollars, pursuing this crazy shit. There is no requirement. I will repeat that. There is no requirement in the United States of America that you must submit your tax returns to be president. So throw that shit out the window and shut up about it because it's absolutely insane and it makes you all look like idiots. Now, what is Trump doing at the moment about Hillary Clinton? Anybody know? Now that it's just kind of funny that when the DA drops all these charges against Trump up in New York, Trump turns around and does this. Former President Donald Trump filed a sprawling federal lawsuit today, the same day and after this last report came out that the DA was dropping those charges. Against who? Hillary Clinton, the Democrat National Committee, and 26 other people and entities that he claims conspired to undermine his 2016 campaign by falsely tying him to Russia. I'll repeat that. The DA has dropped pursuing criminal investigation, and Trump had the lawsuit waiting, and he's going after her and the DNC and many other people. The lawsuit names a wide cast of characters that Trump has accused for years of orchestrating a deep state conspiracy against him, including former FBI Director James Comey and other FBI officials, the retired British spy Christopher Steele and his associates, and a handful of Clinton campaign advisors. Because we all know now what? Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid for the fake dossier. That is factual information, Democrats and liberals. Don't take my word for it. Do your damn homework and stop spreading this false narrative. Under the guise of opposition research, data analysts, and other political strategists, the defendants nefariously sought to sway the public's trust, says the lawsuit, filed in federal court in Florida. They worked together with a single self-serving purpose: to vilify Donald J. Trump. Over 108 pages, the lawsuit rails against many of Trump's political opponents and highlights the grievances that he has complained about for years. It claims Democrats and government officials got together, grabbed bags of offenses, from racketeering conspiracies to malicious prosecution, computer fraud, and theft of secret internet data. The lawsuit asks for more than $24 million in costs and damages. The suit also contains some factual inaccuracies and some of the same exaggerations that Trump had made several other times in the past. The civil suit alleges that Clinton and top Democrats hired lawyers and researchers to fabricate information tying Trump to Russia, and then peddled those lies to the media and to the U.S. government in hopes of hobbling his chances of winning in 2016. Trump claims they were assisted by Clinton loyalists and the FBI, who abused their powers to investigate him out of political animus. CNN has reached out to many of the defendants for comment. Some attorneys for defendants named in the lawsuit will still refuse from making comment as of today. That's right. If you didn't catch that, this is on CNN's website, liberals and Democrats. We haven't had a chance to read the complaint, but knowing the former president, there's probably very little in there that's true, said a representative for former FBI disgraced officer Peter Strzok. The Clinton campaign did pay researchers to dig up dirt about Trump and Russia, and well-connected Democrats took some of their findings to law enforcement, believing possible ties between Trump and Russia were worth investigating. But many of the key elements of Trump's far-reaching accusations in the lawsuit have previously been debunked by the Justice Department Inspector General and by bipartisan reporting from the Senate Intelligence Committee. Special Counsel John Durham, for the past 3 years, has been investigating a lot of the conduct that Trump mentions in his lawsuit. Durham has not gone as far as what Trump is claiming yet. That investigation is still ongoing. That investigation has uncovered, and there are people being prosecuted for this right now, that were part of the DNC and Hillary Clinton as far as lawyers that were feeding all this shit. It's like throwing chum to sharks. And that's what they did, my friends. Durham has filed criminal charges against 3 of the defendants who Trump sued today. Durham secured a guilty plea from former FBI lawyer Kevin Kleinsmith, who admitted to altering emails supporting surveillance warrants against a former Trump campaign aide who had extensive connections to Russian agents. Not Trump. Durham also accused Clinton campaign attorney Michael Sussman of lying to the FBI about who he was representing during the fall of 2016 meeting about the Trump-Russia connections. Durham alleges Sussman was secretly taking suspicions about Trump to the FBI as part of his work for Democrats, including Hillary Clinton. And Durham also charged Steele's primary source of information for his infamous dossier was all a lie to the FBI in 2017 about his contacts related to the dossier, but Sussman and his associates are fighting the charges, as you would expect. Trump's lawsuit claims that Clinton and other defendants conspired to trigger an unfounded investigation by the FBI into potential Trump-Russia collusion in the 2016 election. Multiple federal judges upheld the lawsuit of those investigations, which was later taken over by special counsel Robert Mueller and uncovered dozens of connections between Trump associates and Russian officials, but not Donald Trump. So when they couldn't find connections on some people, what did they do? They just kept digging until they found tax cheats or shit that have nothing to do with the original investigation. That's all factual information. The investigation established that Russia intervened in the 2016 election to help Trump win, though a hacked and leaked operation against Clinton and with a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting U.S. voters on social media. The probe also found that Trump's campaign sought to capitalize on Russian interference, though it did not establish a criminal conspiracy between Trump's aides and anybody that's Russian. Some legal experts quickly weighed in on Trump's lawsuit Thursday, dismissing it as a meritless political stunt. Well, guess what? Then you have paid absolutely zero attention to what the hell is in the Durham report that's come out so far, or everything in the past that James Comey spoke of with Hillary Clinton. None. You're fucking clueless. And that's a shame. Carter Page, a former Trump presidential campaign advisor, also sued some of the same people that Trump has named in this lawsuit. But it's narrowly focused around having his privacy rights violated when he was surveillanced by the FBI in the Russian investigation. So we know it's a fact from all of the investigations that have taken place, those appointed by the Department of Justice, those appointed by the FBI, that it was all fake. It wasn't true. The closest thing Trump has ever come to Russian, whatever you want to call it, would be his wife, who just happened to be born in that part of the country. And she's not actually Russian, by the way. How many of you like Howard Stern, his radio show? Most people either like him or you freaking hate him and can't stand him. All right. I'll be honest with you. Growing up, I loved it. I listened to every damn thing that came out of that man's mouth. Why? Because of freedom of speech. Because he has the right to be a pompous ass. He has the right to say things that piss people off. Just like I do. Liberals and Democrats hate me. And for that matter, they hate anybody on the right that proves them wrong. Well, here we go. Longtime radio personality Howard Stern didn't hide his disappointment yesterday that mask mandates are being lifted across the country. Yep, Howard wants to keep wearing his mask, despite a drastic reduction in new coronavirus cases over the past few months. During Wednesday's broadcast of the Howard Stern Show, Stern blamed Republicans for the lifting of the mandates, referred to them as wackos, who were anti-mask and anti-vaccine, and declared that he missed the old Republican Party. Mr. Stern, I know that you probably will not hear my words, and I'm sure you don't watch my show, but check this out. just so you know, the Democrats are in charge of everything COVID related right now in the federal government, not the Republicans. Mr. Stern, because you obviously don't know, Joe Biden is a Democrat and he sits in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Mr. Stern, since you don't know, the Democrats control the House, and the Senate, not the Republicans. The Democrats. It's Democrat governors, along with Republicans too, across the country that are lifting these silly mask mandates. It's not wacko Republicans. Went on to say that the reason they've lifted these mask mandates is because we give into this small minority of people who are completely out of their fucking minds, who think masks are some sort of prison sentence and their freedoms are being taken away, Stern said. He claimed that politicians got scared when battles over masks became big news and described the situation as so fucked up. There's so many wackos. I miss the old Republican Party. It used to be nice to have a two-party system. Now these wackos versus, Democrats, the wacko party. And still to this day, and I hate to say it, only 65% of Americans are fully vaccinated. And I can't help but think that wackos are winning, he added. Citing in states with strict measures in place for masking began lifting their mandates in February, with more following this month after the Center for Disease Control Prevention, CDC, loosened its guidelines for wearing masks. And if you think that they side with Republicans, then you should stop smoking whatever it is you're smoking, Mr. Stern. According to Johns Hopkins University, there were 23,011 new cases of coronavirus in the U.S. in the past day, drastically down from a record high of 1,382,120 new cases just January 10th. So, look, I don't give a shit if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, a conservative, a liberal. It's a free country. If you would like to continue to wear a mask, wear the damn thing. Wear it. That's your right as an American citizen. In fact, you can probably wear it in any country you go to, and nobody is going to say shit to you. Wear your mask, Howard. Please. But when you come out and say something that's just not true, it's a lie to your audience, I being one of those that have listened to you for years and supported you, then somebody needs to call you out on it, as I'm doing right now. You got to where you're at because of people like me that fought for your constitutional rights and your freedoms. We are the people responsible for you to be the multi-millionaire that you are, to be able to go out and speak your mind. But you need to be a little sensible with it by at least putting out factual information and not bullshitting your audience. I have told you guys, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, that we're where we're at today with this craziness with the far left liberals because they infiltrated our school system. Started out on the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington State, started moving across the country like a Howard Stern fart. And my wife's laughing, but she doesn't know if you follow Howard Stern, you know exactly where that came from. Fart man. She doesn't know. She just thinks that I'm being myself. And I am. All right. Anyhow, a Georgia school board member cut off a mother reading a sexually explicit content at a school board meeting. Why would she do that? Because the book is available in the school's library. The district said that the passage that she's reading is inappropriate for any children to potentially hear. Excuse me, we have children at home. Cherokee County School Board member identified as Patsy Jordan told the angry mother after she read the sexually charged passage from the book Homegoing. The school board member pointed out that the meeting was being live streamed and said reading the passage was inappropriate. Don't you find the irony in that? The parent responded. You're exactly saying exactly what I'm telling you. You're giving it to our children. I would never give this to my child. Video of the exchange has been since seen by thousands of people on social media. I saw it myself. Go check it out. It's pretty damn funny. Talk about hypocrites. It's okay for them to put these books in the school libraries in elementary, in junior high, in high school, that shouldn't even be in a college library, for crying out loud. But yet, if a parent reads the book that they're allowing the kids to read out loud at a school board meeting, oh my gosh, what the hell are you doing? Well, that's what we want to know about you guys. What the hell are you doing by allowing that to be there in the first damn place? The parent at the meeting recounted to the board that the process of removing books from school libraries is lengthy. She said the current wait time for review of a book reaches up to November of this year. And books under review remain available to students until the review is complete. All this happened under your watch, the parent told the board. Maybe if you spent more time reading these books instead of calculating the statistical demographics of those submitting the books, you wouldn't groom our children. You're saying that we're embarrassing you? Well, you're embarrassing us and our kids. It's not okay. You're supposed to be giving them a safe place, a safe space in school. These books, if I can't email them to you, if I can't say them, they shouldn't be in the school. The board then told the mother her time was up. A spokesperson for the Cherokee County School District told Fox News Digital Thursday morning that school board members stopped the parent because she was reading a high school level book, and children younger than high school age have access to watching the meeting live stream and access to watch the video when it was posted the next day on the CCSD website. Spokesperson added that the concerned parent does not have students at the high school level within the school district and have been repeatedly advised she could file a challenge to remove the book. The book is only available to high school students, the district said, and they have the right to restrict their children from checking out books from the library. The book, Homegoing by Yaay Gayson, Gyasi, is described as an extraordinary novel that talks about slavery, troubled legacy both from those who were taken and those who stayed, and shows how the memory of captivity has been inscribed in the soul of our nation, according to Barnes and Noble. The unidentified mother at the meeting told PJ Media that parents have been bringing these books to the attention of the school board since November of last year. The mother circled back with her concerned parents in January, only to find the books in question were still available to the students. Now, parents are reviewing the list of books available to students that they find inappropriate. And there's this whole process that takes months to get the books removed that are bad. I tell you what, I'm not a librarian. I never was a librarian. I'm also not a fucking NASA rocket scientist. But if I'm a principal of a school and a parent comes to me with concern of a book checked out of my library and can show me a passage that's sexually charged, that's all it takes. The book's fucking out of there. It doesn't have to go through a panel of people to debate it and determine whether or not it's appropriate or not appropriate. Porn is not appropriate in K through 12. It's not. It's not. They're not adults. They're kids. Doesn't matter if they're in high school or junior high or elementary. They're children. If they can't go buy a porn magazine at the newsstand, or they can't go into an adult theater or someplace that sells adult novelties, then why is it okay to be in your school? It's not okay. And this is a problem, like I say, that started a while back, right under our noses, and little to nothing was done about it. And it's still happening. That's just one case. And those of you that watch this show on a regular basis, you've heard me talk about it in the past. This is not the first time I've shared with you a story where a parent was shut down by the school board for reading a passage from a book that the school board allows in the library for the children. I've done stories about junior high where those books were available, and even elementary schools. But there are people in these positions that also won't allow the Bible to be there. They're the fucking Antichrist. They're horrible people. If you're pushing filth on our children, you need to find another job, school board members. Like at Susie's Adult Theater. Selling products over the counter or cleaning out the glory hole booths. Either way, you don't deserve to be around children in our schools. Period. End of discussion. And how this is a big fucking deal and nobody gets it is beyond me. As you can imagine, you're not going to find this as a shocker, I'm sure. When my children were growing up, I was Johnny on the spot. Anytime something came out of a teacher or a school board member that was inappropriate. And I got shit done. And I've been saying this. If you go back and you look at some of my past stories I've covered on this, before these parents started standing up to these school board members, I was the one calling for this shit. I was the one saying that until we get parents mad enough, pissed off enough to stand up to these bastards, then nothing will be done. It will just get worse. So then we had members of the Biden administration decide that parents that are approaching, speaking in public hearings at school boards about things that's happening in their schools, whether it's library books that are inappropriate or critical race theory, all of a sudden become domestic terrorists. That's That's how nuts this is. All these school board meetings, by the way, already have law enforcement on hand. And the Biden administration made damn sure of that there's even more available, because parents now are labeled as the enemy. Parents, not the people that are taking care of our children during the school day, feeding them bullshit information and things that are not appropriate for their little brains. I don't care where you come down on porn, whether you like it or don't like it. That's not what this is about at all. It's about our children having access to porn in a school library. It's just as bad as when, and you see this, hell, every couple of months, it's on the news, where another teacher molested a student. It's sick, it's sad, it's inappropriate, and it should not be happening. Anyhow, I'm glad to be back. Muted. Now it's unmuted, I guess. That was weird.
Lost audio.
Anyhow, if you haven't already done so, please go and check out DouglasDucote.com. Look in the description of this video and all videos where you can follow me on different places on social media sites. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America and planet Earth, because we are just one crazy person away from a full-blown nuclear freaking war, thanks to Putin being left unchecked. Good night, everyone. Have a blessed weekend. If anything comes out of major importance between now and next Tuesday, I'll be sure to do something about it, video or a live show or whatever. Until then, I'll see you next Tuesday. God bless everyone. Have a good night.